A Dutch ship arrives on Japanese shores, and the local lord Yabashuge seizes both its cargo and its pilot, a slab of salted English beef named John Blackthorn. Yabu's own lord, Toranaga, quickly takes control of the booty and summons the foreign Anjin to Osaka. Toranaga is the most powerful member of the 5-member Regent Council appointed by the late ruler of Japan to run the country until his heir comes of age. The 4 other regents want Toranaga impeached and executed, but the daimyo holds the heir's mother at his castle in Edo as insurance against them. One of Toranaga's men speaks out of turn in defense of his master, and to show how hardcore the Bushido Code truly is, must then kill both himself and his own son to restore his honor, leaving his wife Fuji as a childless widow. Meanwhile, on the journey to Osaka, Anjin saves the lives of both Yabashuge and a Spanish pilot named Rodriguez. In spite of that, Rodriguez reveals that he has Blackthorn's logs detailing the Englishman's pirating activities, and plans to rat him out to the authorities in Osaka. Blackthorn meets with Toranaga, and in the coolest depiction of translation since the 13th Warrior, reveals to the daimyo that Europe is actually divided between Protestant and Catholic, something the Portuguese never divulged. Sitting in on the meeting is Mariko, a Portuguese-speaking Japanese Christian, who acts as liaison to Toranaga. She quickly puts together her lord's master plan, use Anjin to sow discord between his rival Ishido and the 2 Christian regents on the council, thus delaying his imminent impeachment. Lord Yabashuge stages a bandit ambush to stay Blackthorn's execution and bring him to Toranaga. There, he gives a brief history of colonization. Spain and Portugal have carved the world in half, with Japan falling under Portugal's domain. Not only that, they had set up a secret base in Macau, with hundreds of Christian samurai, which the Catholic daimyos had kept secret from the other regions. One of those Catholic lords sends a ninja to assassinate Blackthorn, but she only inflicts a minor wound before being dispatched. Toranaga arranges for his consort and Blackthorn to be taken to the fishing village of Ejiro, but ever the crafty bastard, the daimyo pulls a good old-fashioned Texas switch, secretly taking his mistress's place in the palanquin. The ruse is nearly uncovered, but Anjin's crazy-ass white boy antics save the day. En route, they are ambushed by one of the Catholic regents. In the fracas, Toranaga's party slips away towards the docks, where Mariko's husband, the samurai Buntaro, makes an epic last stand. However, Osaka Harbor has been blockaded by the Christians, and Toranaga cuts a deal with the Portuguese, ensuring safe passage, but leaving Anjin behind. Blackthorn takes the initiative, racing alongside the black ship and punching through the blockade. Out of the grasp of his enemies, Toranaga sends a formal resignation to the Regents' Council, preventing them from reaching a quorum on an impeachment vote. For his tenacity, Toranaga awards the Englishman with the title of Hatamoto, and demonstrates his newfound respect with a totally hetero swimming contest. Back in Ejiro, Blackthorn is charged with training Toranaga's gun regiment. One problem: he knows piss all about field tactics. Luckily, he applies his knowledge about naval guns to greatly increase the effectiveness of the cannons. Fuji is set up as his consort, and the initially uneasy partnership solidifies into mutual respect when she is entrusted with his pistols, and in return, Anjin is gifted her family's katanas. Blackthorn lives the weeaboo dream in his own Japanese estate, getting in touch with Shinto spirituality and starting a forbidden romance with his recently widowed translator. While Mariko grief bangs the Anjin, and with Toranaga away in Edo, Yabashuge schemes to use the cannons as a bargaining chip for Ishido in the event that his lord's master plan fails.
I'm playing both sides so that I always come out on top.
His nephew Omi pushes Toranaga's son to make a bold move against Ishido's men. On the day they test the cannon, Nagakado gives the signal, and Buntaro's alive, and Toranaga arranges for him to stay with his wife Mariko at Blackthorn's estate. An awkward situation made worse by Fuji letting slip to her uncle that Mariko slept with Anjin. An ill-advised sake drinking contest leads to total disaster at dinner. Buntaro forces Mariko to reveal that her father assassinated the previous ruler of Japan, and had to kill his entire family before committing seppuku. That night, Buntaro beats his wife, and then denies Anjin's attempt at playing the White Knight by offering a show of submission. Mariko buries her emotions deep down, and tells Blackthorn that her relationship with him will now be limited to translator, and only as translator. Anjin realizes that he had inadvertently put his beloved gardener to death over the theft of a rotting bird. He tells Toranaga that he wants off this crazy ride, but fate intervenes in the form of an earthquake, of which Anjin rescues his lord and gives him his own swords. Meanwhile, Ochiba, the mother of the heir, returns to Osaka, and tired of the incompetence of the regents, places them under new management. We see the fallout of the Japanese translator admitting to a dark, dishonorable secret. But enough about Shohei Ohtani. Toranaga decides the best couples therapy for Mariko and Blackthorn is a trip to the high-end courtesan Kiku for tea and pillowing, and it works in getting both to unlock their most guarded feelings. Though Anjin is now cucking 2 of Toranaga's allies. We learn that Mariko was childhood friends with Lady Ochiba, the mother to the heir. Ochiba's father was once the corrupt ruler of Japan, the same one assassinated by Mariko's father, under orders from Toranaga. Now Ochiba seeks her revenge by controlling the Regents Council and waging war against the Oshi clan and all their allies. Lord Sugiyama, the most powerful of the remaining regents, objects to such manipulation and blocks the council from legally impeaching Toranaga. No matter, Ochiba works some Lady Macbeth shit on Ishido, pushing him to kill Lord Sugiyama. The only means of survival left for Toranaga is an all-out attack on Osaka to seize the title of Shogun himself. The Crimson Sky will now rain blood. With his army decimated by the earthquake, Toranaga makes a plea to his brother Saiki for troops, but treachery, as Saiki has already taken a deal to become the 5th regent upon Toranaga's surrender and execution. There's no clever escape for the daimyo this time, and his allies struggle to cope with their imminent demise.
The all is lost moment!
Buntaro wants to kill Anjin for his affair with his wife, but can't bring himself to also kill Mariko for her own dishonor. Only Gin, the Madam of the Willow World, sees a future, and convinces Toranaga to set aside a district for her in Edo, to create what will become the geisha class. Toranaga inks his final will and surrenders. That night, Saeko celebrates with a bit of choke pillowing with the courtesan Kiku. She entices him with even more hardcore kink play, perhaps to assassinate him while he's in a compromising position. Then suddenly, Toranaga's brainless whelp of a son bursts in with his own assassination attempt, but rolls a nat 1 and critically fails. Toranaga marches with a heavy heart back to Edo to cremate his son. The bereaved are given 49 days to mourn, which for the daimyo and his allies is 7 extra weeks to scheme. Father Alvido suggests a Hail Mary attempt to ally with Lady Ochiba, but is instead sent to Osaka by the sickly Toranaga to reiterate his apparent submission. Blackthorn offers Yabashige his ship and service in a shit-face alliance, which would be an act of betrayal to their lord. Hiramatsu is convinced that Toranaga hasn't given up, and is merely playing a game of 4D chess. Rather than submit, he tries to call Toranaga's bluff by threatening seppuku. The daimyo doesn't flinch, and
Suicide is badass!
with his oldest friend now dead, things are even more dire for Toranaga. But that's exactly what he wants everyone to think. The surrender, Anjin and Yabu's secret partnership, even the dramatic death of Hiramatsu, are all part of his greater plan, and he sends Mariko to Osaka to fulfill her purpose. What is he cooking? Mariko makes her play. She tells Ishido that she will take Toranaga's consorts out of Osaka Castle, and if she fails her lord, she will commit seppuku. Ishido is incensed.
As your authority is not recognized in Fort Kickass.
If he releases Kiri no Kata, then all his other guests, including the Christian regents, will leave too, and then he loses his political leverage. If he refuses, then he tacitly admits to holding them as hostage, and Mariko's death would spur revolt among the Osakan nobility. Her attempt to muscle her way out of the castle fails, and she is now committed to her fate. Suicide is a mortal sin for a Catholic, so Blackthorn steps up to land the actual killing blow as Mariko's second. But at the 11th hour, Ishido capitulates and allows his captives to leave willfully. That night, the castle is assaulted by a ninja army in league with Ishido and Yabashige, ordered to capture Mariko alive. Like all of Yabu's plans, it immediately backfires on him, and cornered by shinobi, Mariko braces against the door to fulfill her final mission for her lord. Mariko's death forces Ishido to release the hostages from Osaka. Her parting wish is for the church to spare Anjin, but in exchange, his ship is destroyed. Toranaga himself torched the Erasmus, and is now using the search for the perpetrator
We're all trying to find the guy who did this and give him a spanking.
as pretext to root out those he deems disloyal to him. Blackthorn objects to the brutal treatment of the villagers, and threatens seppuku in protest, but Toranaga stays the blade. The fate of the English pilot is now tied to Japan. He helps Fuji commit her deceased loved ones to the sea, before dropping Mariko's Mariko's crucifix into the harbor, releasing his own grief. Yabushige must pay for his betrayal against his lord, and a true sicko to the end, he requests death by cannon or piranhas. Toranaga opts for vanilla seppuku, but before the ritual lays bare his ultimate plan. Mariko's mission was to sway Lady Ochiba, who will now withhold her army from the coming battle. Without the heir's banner, Ishido's coalition will collapse, and Toranaga will at last claim the title of shogun.